Yes, I am experimenting today and I'm excited to try this out. I had got an idea in my head after hanging out with Rhonda Draculis at RK3 Designs. And yeah, my ideas got a buzzing and well, I'm just gonna share. All right, these are the two colors I'm playing with today. These are mica powders. The first one is Purple Mountain, which is a nice deep purple with a shimmer to it. The other one is a bright silver, also with a shimmer to it. And yeah, very simple. And I'm also playing with resin. We're doing just the regular stone coat countertops, their countertop formula. So it's got a working time of about 50 minutes. Now, I need to apologize ahead of time. I have a definite morning voice. I don't know what's going on, but it's really rough. Sounds like I'm a smoker and I'm not. Like never have been. Anyway, so here's the premise of the board. As you can tell, there's not a lot going on. I literally lay down color loosely, like, took the purples, did swirls all over the place loosely just to get on the board. The silver did that, and then just with my fingers blended it in. I wasn't trying to go for mixing it up completely, so you get some points that are silver, some that are not. And mica powders do this interesting thing. In resin, they're kind of suspended in the formula for a little while, but after a period of time when the formula is really nice and liquidy and thin, they'll settle down to the bottom. So you can make little textures and shapes and stuff like that with your fingers, and it's like, ooh, looks really cool, like it did in the beginning. And then you'll come back in a little bit, and it'll go all flat again. You're like, hey, what happened? So this is the process that we're playing with. So as you see here, I have done some doodles with a sharp point and I got them kind of laid in. I'm just experimenting. Today's an experiment day. We're just playing. I got inspired with an idea. So I got this basis set up and I wanted to see which doodles worked the best. And when I got the board covered, then I just walked away. I set my timer for an hour and I come back to it. The resin will thicken up a bit and I do it all over again. I play all over again. All right, so this is me coming back. Same stick, kind of following the pattern, but I'm not worried about it staying on point. I want to go with the flow of what I originally drew in and just see having layers and layers and layers of these similar shapes and what the resin actually looks like when it's done. And I'm hoping for just a really cool kind of background. So, what I will tell you is when you do this kind of technique, the as you know, when I'm drawing the stick through it, you can probably see at the high points, there's a bubble that happens. The bubble's kind of cool. But I will hit it with a torch super fast just to pop the bubbles. But I do not keep the torch on it long because it will loosen up that resin and make those mica powders settle back down. So I got to be really, really mindful of that. All right, and this is how it looks closer up. You're getting the lines a little bit more defined. They're starting to come in a little sharper. And you see those little circles there? You can tell the resin's getting thicker and thicker by when it pops the bubble. It doesn't quite fill in completely quickly. And that's going to happen a little bit more and a little bit more. So I waited an hour. Now we're doing a half an hour additional time. I'm just going to come in and repeat the same process. And this really does look cool when you're looking directly on top of it. It starts to play around with the depth and such. Now, you can't really do this too much with pigment pastes. They have a different effect, but for some reason, just playing around with mica powders really brings this out. It's very cool. So I am going to go and play with this until I cannot play with it anymore. In other words, I'm going to keep on saying that time until I think it's like, I should probably stop here. Now remember, this is the Countertops formula, so it's got a 15-minute working time, and I'm already past it by a half an hour. And I'll bring you in for a close-up when I get done with this part. And you saw how quickly I just hit it with the torch. It was just super, super fast. And it's starting to have a lot more depth with this design and such. And you see, I'm not exactly going on top of it, but I am going in the same direction, the same feel of it. All right, so this is a half an hour later after that, and repeating the process, and I'm actually starting to feel the resin thicken up seriously. And now, granted, this is sped up quite a bit, but I'm drawing this in super, super slow because I don't want to bring out the bubbles, which were happening really easily before. And the other thing that's happening too is when I'm drawing my channel lines in there, the resin wants to fill back in. It wants to, you remember, resin wants to self-level. It is designed for that purpose. So it will start to go in and not flow as much. And sometimes you might even get bare boards. And I do draw in a little bit with the stick just to try to fill that in a bit. But I think I am at the end of my working time on this one at this level. So I've got photos in here that shows you the different times. It's like, doing it immediately at fresh, 1 hour, 1.5 hours, and when I end up with 2 hours. So now the board's curing over at RK3 Designs. I have to go pick it up. So I don't even know how the finished cure ended up with. But at the point of the 2 hour mark, as you can see here, is building up to look really, really pretty. So I'm starting to show more detail at 1.5 hours and even more at 2 hours. Super stoked. What do you guys think? Do you think I ought to continue with this? Let me know in the comments below. Later, y'all.